What has been like, since we're on the topic, because I want to talk about everything, but since the lineup is obviously the most important thing that's happening at this moment in time, what is like a typical like lineup announcement day for you? Because I know with the Florida one is a little different because it's the one that's closest to you as well.
Um, so this one was a little different this time because we went instantly on sale with the lineup instead of like drop the lineup and on sale a few days later.
Yeah.
So this one had a combination of like dropping the lineup and monitoring like where it's getting posted and the marketing side, but also monitoring sales too. So we do like a team Zoom and we're looking at the sales, looking at the posts going up. I was probably on Zoom this morning for like 3 hours or so.
Jesus.
And then it's like doing press and stuff. So did a Zoom interview, did a Hot 97 interview.
Yep.
Now I'm here, gonna pop around to some more places, just working the rounds. Phones going crazy. People texting, oh, the lineup is dope. Oh, why am I not on the lineup?
Oh, you got a couple of those this morning?
Yeah, it happens,
oh man,
man.
I hate getting those type of texts too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, oh, why did you put me on this lineup on like a cipher with OTR? Like,
yeah.
Why not me? How do you respond to like or how do you handle those texts when you get them?
I haven't responded yet. I gotta think about some politically correct response. It's never like. It's not like they don't deserve to be on the lineup, but this time around we were just trying to do a lot of new shit.
Yeah.
Like not book a lot of the same artists that we booked 100 times. It's a new decade for us, being that we started in 2015. So it's time for us to try some new shit to bring up the the underground artists that of today and these young cats that are going crazy, and to really just set the tone for the new era and give opportunity too for the fans to miss the artists that we've booked 100 times. You know what I mean? So that when we do book them again, they're excited for it.
Right, because I was going through your Twitter, I think the other day, or I was going through Rolling Loud's Twitter, one of them when I was preparing for this, and I remember you were talking about the announcement. Which, by the way, I also saw that the pre-sales like sold out for the most part, right?
Yeah. We sold over 35,000 pre-sales. It's crazy.
How much does the whole venue hold?
It's gonna hold about like 60 to 70.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But as I was going through your Twitter, I remember you were talking about the lineup, and I saw this one kid who you actually replied to. He was like, oh, or she was like, oh, could we not get like the same recycled lineup over and over again? And you're like, nah, new everything. Like, it's gonna be completely different. And obviously, that was also you addressing, I guess, like something that I guess most people consider like a criticism of Rolling Loud. I guess. But for you, what was like, especially with this one, because I saw you kind of had begun to stray away from similar lineups when you were doing, obviously, of course, with the international lineups, but also with the California lineup last year. You saw some different faces on there, and kind of some more experimental stuff like with Uno Miles and all them. Like I was like, okay, I see where it's going. With this Rolling Loud, what was kind of like, when did that intention of starting to like, oh hey, we're gonna do a complete overhaul of like what we've been doing and really focus on like these new kids. When did that kind of start coming about for you?
I think it started like, first of all, these newer artists are just making so much noise right now, like selling out big shows and streaming well and stuff. But it started just like you start seeing people say, you get the feeling too, but it's validated by you start seeing people say like, damn, like Rolling Loud's the same lineup every like like. I don't want that same line, and it's funny because you got two sides of the coin. You're gonna have people that are like, man, where's so and so? Where's so and so? Like that's what I want. It's like but it's 100 of you, but there's 100 other people that are like, yo, give me something new, And I think it's important to evolve as we move forward. If we just keep doing the same thing we were doing for the past 10 years. It's not going to evolve. We're not going to sell the tickets we need to sell. We need to appeal to a new base of fans.
Right.
At somebody that was 25 years old in 2015 that went to their first Rolling Loud, they're 35 now, and they might not be as into going to a festival. We need to appeal to the youth, or even if somebody that was 20 and is now 30, or was 18 now 28. Like we're all getting older, and the kids. They want to rage. They want to go to a show. You know what I mean? So we got to give the kids what they're listening to.
Right. No, and I love that, and I really do love this lineup. Like, I think it's perfectly curated, and also like, aside from like Don Tyler and Playboy Cardi, who obviously have been like rolling loud vets, we have NBA Youngboy on here.
Yeah.
Who I saw you post a picture up with him. I think it was on your IG like a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago.
A couple months ago. Yeah.
It was a couple months ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a couple months ago. And I remember like when I was getting ready for this, like 2 nights ago, I was like, I feel like he did this on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. That was the day we locked in the deal.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had a show in Miami at the Kaseya Center, and we had the deal terms worked out, but there was a couple little issues that he wanted to discuss, like, and so we discussed it, and basically he was all right, we're locked in, so that was good. But yeah, I posted that because we had gone basically dark last year. We did the show March 2025 in LA, and then people were like, all right, where's Miami? And we didn't really answer that question. But I wanted to put something out there, to let people know we're cooking. So put that photo out with at Rolling Loud and the eye emojis, and people kind of say, okay, they're cooking. But I think it was important, speaking of that, just let people miss us a little bit, Let people be mad, like, yo, where the fuck is the news? Like, when are you dropping, blah, blah, blah. It was good to see. It was hard to look at, but it was also good to see, like, okay, people care. They want us back. They want to miss us. And just reclaiming our magic,
Right, and so to kind of go over a bit of this lineup, man, like a few that I'm very excited about. Obviously, SD Kid, I love that. Like Nespen and Xavier So Bass are like right there in that top line too on Friday. I'm trying to see who else. Obviously, Chow. We love Chow. You got Femi on there. You got YT, So Camo, who's doing amazing. Sav from Canada, and then on Saturday we got Pooh Shiesty back, which I think is incredible because you talk about reclaiming that magic. Pooh Shiesty's also one lately who has reclaimed his magic, coming home.
Right.
Nine Vicious, Baby Chief dude who's gonna do incredible. Molly Santana, Until Japan, like it's Nino Breeze, who I think is incredible as well too. Pretty fun, all that. You got B-Jax on there.
Absolutely.
Which shout out B-Jax.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, which is a stag day with Youngboy, and then of course you got like the Sexy Reds, the Boss Mandilos, the No Caps, Che, Osama-san, and you got PlaqueBoyMax being, I believe that's the first streamer to ever do a Rolling Loud, right? That's ever.
As a performer.
As a performer,
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool because, at the same time as I feel like I see. Oh, and then of course like, Fadi, Golden Boy Counter, Big West. You still have that Florida in there. You know what I'm saying? Which I think is super sick. But what I like the most about this lineup is because like I feel like you said, it is very like heavily underground inspired, but at the same time, I think this is definitely one of your most diverse lineups that I think I've seen up until this point too.
Appreciate that. I think like hip hop went so mainstream as we grew. Like when we started Rolling Loud in 2015, it was straight underground. Like if you came to Rolling Loud in 2015, you were really part of the culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You were in it. And you got into 2018, 2019, 2021, it became more like, all right, it was more like an everyday person could enjoy Rolling Loud because it was so like artists were on the radio, they were they were the top of the charts, all that stuff, but that's never what mattered to us. Our goal is to be the home for hip hop. Our goal is to be hip hop Disney World, hip hop Super Bowl, and that place where hip hop can thrive. As all these other festivals are like turning their backs on hip hop right now.
Yeah.
Like Coachella had 6 or 8 rappers on it out of that 100 or whatever artists they have. Whereas in other years when hip hop's on top, they got way more hip hop.
Gutball too.
Yeah. It's like all these festivals are doing less and less hip hop. It's like, okay, bet y'all were never here for real to begin with. So we're standing true to that, and it's important that as the genre evolves, that we evolve with it. So, just to keep showcasing new vibes and also giving people the slots that they deserve. Like, Don's got an album coming out. Don has been doing, direct support for Travis for years, But his sets are going almost as crazy as Travis's, So it's time. All right, Don, you got a new album coming. You are an incredible performer. It's time for you to headline. You just went and did the business.
This is his first headline, right?
Yeah.
For you guys? Okay.
Yeah, so there's only one headliner on this bill has headlined Rolling Loud before. That was Playboy Cardi.
Yeah.
The other two, Don Toliver and Youngboy, they've never headlined a Rolling Loud.
Which is, again, leads into what we were just talking about like the you kind of ushering in this new era of Rolling Loud with having, like, for the first time having two people headlining that haven't headlined before.
Yeah, it's important. Like, new headliners, new vibes, gotta freshen it up. And it's not that we're never gonna headline Future or Travis or Kendrick or any of the big, awesome headliners that we've had in the past. But, we'll try something different this time.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that has really impressed me about this lineup too, and especially what you have been doing lately with a couple of lineups, has been like the international appeal of this, right? Obviously, the UK is very heavy on here with like SD Kid and all them and Nems and YT, but you also had
Fake Mink, can't
forget about Fake Mink. But you also had this one artist on there, Sky is Your God.
Yeah.
Asian artist, which I think is super sick.
He's Chinese, but he sold out Terminal 5.
Crazy. Yeah.
He self-promoted it too. Like, booked the venue and sold the tickets himself.
See, I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool because, like, you mentioned how like 10 years ago, and even like early 2020s, like kind of like hip hop was very much like everybody could go to Rolling Loud and find something that they like there. But since it's become so mainstream, globally too, I think here inside of America, you and I feel like have like a sense of this, but like I guess like the average American wasn't always so hip to like what was going on around the world hip hop wise.
Yeah, it's more. It feels like, in the past at least, it felt more like America wasn't looking outside of America. It was like the rest of the world was looking into America, and now it feels like our eyes are opening to what's going on overseas.
Yeah. Like I feel like obviously you having all the guys from the UK, and then obviously the Chinese artist on there has been like really kind of like the stamp of like approval that I think a lot of these guys needed here in America to be like, hey, look, like hip hop isn't just like an American thing anymore. It's like it's global, and like even like what China's doing with their hip hop scene right now is insane.
No, it's wild. It's super wild. Like they got whole hip hop shows in China with straight Chinese artists.
Like, they have like their own like XXL freshman. You know what I'm talking about too?
Yeah. I don't know what it's called, but yeah.
My boy DJ Yida, who was like the only Chinese DJ who's done OTR, he like sent it to me one day, and I'm like, what the hell?
I don't know what they're saying, but it's lit.
But it's hard, right? It's hard, right? But like with that being said, when you were going into this, was the international component kind of like at the forefront of your mind for it as well?
Of the lineup?
Of the lineup, yeah. The lineup.
We want it to be a destination. We want the whole world to want to fly in for this show. Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely on our minds for sure.
Right. And you mentioned that people were, you guys went radio silent for a little bit last year, and everybody wanted to answer like what was going on with Miami, right? Can we like what is like the answer to that question now?
Sure. So Miami, with the exception of the first year was in February, but Miami historically was always in May. Yeah. The month of May. And most of the time, Mother's Day weekend. And that's when we felt like was the best time for the festival. We got displaced from May and had to go to July because F1, like the car race, went to the venue, and like their load in and load out is so crazy that like even though they're just one weekend in May, you can't do a show for all of May. So we weren't able to do May anymore at our venue.
Because of F1.
Yeah, so we moved to July. But July in Miami is just so hot. Like, it's crazy hot. So we did July a few times. It was, tickets sold, but it was just like, it's too hot, So we tried December. December, the weather was great, but it's tough to, people traveling for the holidays, like, doing a show 10 days before Christmas. Most people, if they're traveling for a show, or if they're traveling in December, they're traveling for visiting family, and if they're spending money on other people. Sure. You're not really spending on yourself in December. So the December Miami show in 2024 ended up being like a more local show, like a more like Florida-based show. So people weren't flying in as much because, like all the reasons I just said. So we were like, all right, how do we get back to May? And the option of Orlando emerged. So that was like the main reason, but also just Orlando has great hotel deals. Like Orlando, I think, is a city with the most hotel rooms in the world. And on top of that, it's cheap to fly into Orlando. So it's cost effective for not just us, but for the fans to be able to fly in from wherever and experience Rolling Loud for much cheaper than it used to be.
Yeah. It was funny because like my best friend, she lives in Orlando with her husband, and I sent it to her, and she's like, "Oh wow, I've never been to a Rolling Loud. This is amazing."
Yeah.
And me and her were having just like a little conversation about it because like she goes to Miami a lot too because you know how close it is.
Yeah.
And I think that what I really appreciate about you guys doing it in Orlando is obviously the hotels, like you could really stay anywhere in that Orlando area.
Yeah.
And getting to the venue is still like comfortable.
Yeah.
Versus in the Miami area. And also I think in Orlando, like, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you have more space now to do
for the venue itself.
For the venue,
it's the amount of space is comparable. Hard Rock Stadium in Miami is huge.
Yeah.
So it's not like, but the hotels that's really the ticket. You know, because like, dude, hotels in Miami, there's not really like affordable options for hotels in Miami. Or you staying at some dump if it's affordable. Like you got a big poppin' weekend in Miami, the hotels are dumb expensive. They're all on the beach or Brickell or what have you. Like in Orlando, there's so many hotel rooms to choose from. Yeah.
Like Winter Park. I like staying in Winter Park. That's like kind of like the perfect.
Winter Park is nice.
Yeah, that's like the perfect area to just duck off if you want to duck off and then go do whatever you got to do in Orlando. So.
Yeah, it's like International Drive is full of hotels. Like there's so many. Yeah, there's so many regions of Orlando. I lived there for 5 years, so I'm pretty familiar with Orlando, and it's got, for people flying in, it's one of the most affordable cities in America.
Facts. I feel like with this festival, there have been so many conversations in like the media over the last like 6-7 months about like hip hop not having any new superstars, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's like where like Rolling Loud plays such a crucial place, because obviously like the festival that you and Matt have created has been like the breaking ground for so many people from like the SoundCloud era to even like the early 2020s after the pandemic, even in New York with the New York drill era too and whatnot. It's become such an important place for artists to become superstars and explode. And I think that this by you doing this lineup too, and even with the artists that you picked, like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this is also that statement that's like, no, like we have superstars,
We believe in artists before anybody else does.
Facts.
That's if you ask me like, yo, what do you do for a living? It's like I might be biting this from somebody else. I don't think this is like an original quote, but like but what do I do for a living? I believe in artists before anybody else. And so it happens to be that the artists that we believe in tend to be superstars or in the making or soon to be superstars or about to become superstars. So if you look at all of our past lineups, you look at those lineups today and you couldn't even do it because like the amount of money it would cost now, like the ticket would have to be like $1,000, $2,000, because you'd be spending crazy amount of millions of dollars on the lineup. You look at our old lineups that would have like Kendrick, Wayne, Future, Rocky, so and so, like up, like artists are just continuing to grow, and so you gotta. It's like I wish I knew it was the good times when it was the good times. It's like don't like. If you're not necessarily all the way familiar, if you're somebody that's been going to Rolling Loud and you're not all the way up on all these new artists, and you're looking at this lineup and you're like, where's Travis, where's Uzi, where's all these artists that have been on Rolling Loud forever, I would challenge those people, like, take a listen to the lineup, go watch footage from these artist shows, take a look at their socials, like listen to their music, and like you'll probably be pretty surprised, like, oh, this is fire. You know what I mean? You're just not hip to it yet. You might just be unk status, like, which I am, but I try to keep myself young by keeping my finger on the pulse.